Dee-dum, and we are recording. Guess what, folks? It's Sunday! Yes, it fucking is. So there's been no videos on the channel for about 2 weeks. I don't have a cold, by the way. It's hay fever. Fucking everyone's out cutting their fucking grass today just because it's sunny. But there has been no videos on the... In fact, this is the first video for basically 2 weeks. I'll go through the camera thing first because you're probably seeing it clear as day. There's a fucking pile of medication behind me. If I do that... God, the Logitech looks fucking awful now. I've got... Whoa, don't fall. I've got that. Oculabs 4K. 4K. It's one of those cameras that instantly better picture. It's one of those cameras that basically upscale UHD. At least that's what it looks as if it's doing. It's upscaling UHD. 4K is something like 38,000 pixels. 2K, which is UHD, is just slightly above 2,000 pixels. I think that's what this is doing. So Logitech for the face cam, this thing here for the close-up work, and the reason I got this was for the Tuesday shows, which will be starting next month. That's when they're going to be starting, because this thing does a hell of a lot better picture quality at close-up work than the little Logitech camera does. Oculabs A8, that's the name of the webcam. I got it free because I'm a member of Amazon Vine, but I think the thing was retailing for about £70, which is roughly the same price the Logitech sells for in retail. Good little camera, Oculabs A8. It's not. I don't think it's true 4K. I don't think it is. I think it's upscaled 2K, which is still fucking double the resolution of a Logitech. So, yeah, no videos. That's fucking medication. No, that's plasters. Medication. There's a fucking bundle of it. It's over the past couple of weeks, the doctors, because the current medication that I am on are losing their effectiveness. I've been taking them for so fucking long now. The doctor's now going through trials of different types of medication of that same type. Some of them agreed with me, some of them didn't. And the big problem is the metformin that I'm taking for the type 2 diabetes. Some of the medication is not interacting all that well with it, which is odd because they should, according to the doctor. So that's why I've been not around for... I've been rough. Just fucking rough. That's the only way to describe it. In fact, it was so bad at one point at the end of... Not this week, but at the end of last week. It's a new doctor, right? The old one retired. He was like fucking damn near 70, but they kept him on because of a shortage of doctors. But he put his foot down and said, nope, that's it, I'm retiring. So I got a new doctor in, and at the end of the first week, the doctor was scribbling on a notepad, and I thought, that looks like a doctor's sick line pad. She didn't know. She didn't know that I was self-employed. I went, hold on, before you finish writing that out, I'm self-employed. And she went, oh, and then tore off the page and threw it in the bin. If I was employed, that sick line was for 2 months. 2 months, which would have lasted me until October, end of October. I could have held that to my employment. My employer would have went, okay, well, we either keep you on and keep paying you statutory sick pay, or we let you go and you go on to full ESA. Can't do that because I'm self-employed. And the doctor said, basically, you've got a choice. You can either tough it out for the next month and a half to 2 months as we trial and error what's going on here. You will have good days, very few, but you will have good days. If you can manage to cram in as much work as you possibly can, because I told her I do video work for these things, if you manage to cram in as much recording as you possibly can during the good days, then you've got the recordings saved to edit or do whatever you do with them later on. Or, alternatively, shut your company down and go fully ESA. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Nope. Nope. Because there will be a light at the end of the tunnel with this. If it was going to be the case of an ongoing chronic disease, not acute, but ongoing chronic disease, where there is no cure and the pain is continuous and I can't get rid of it, I would have just made an announcement saying, right, that's it, I'm done, it's over. I'm gonna slowly wind down vaping with Vic, clear out the shelves of any remaining reviews, and then do a big sell off of all the equipment, shut down the office, onto ESA. But because there's a light at the end of the tunnel with this, once they get the right medication, essentially, it's not worth shutting the company down, selling off all the camera equipment, the lighting, the tables, the shelving, everything, and then 2.5 months later going back onto full-time self-employment again and having to buy it all fucking back. That's just stupid. So I'm taking the other option of taking the good days and basically going down to the office, doing some bulk batch recording for that week and half of the week after that, and then edit them here at the house, which is probably the best way to do it. It's probably the best way to do it, but yeah, that's why there's been no videos, folks. And the UK Vape Show will not be back until September the 1st, which is, I'm double checking here to make sure it's actually a Thursday. I think it is. Yeah, September the 1st is a Thursday, so UK Vape Show's back on September the 1st. This camera was grabbed on Amazon Vine in preparation for the new Tuesday show, which I think is going to be starting at 7 o'clock in the evening. Kind of 7 o'clock to 8:30 run. That's what I'm thinking. Hour and a half. Get a little 20-minute build section in there for a retro tank or retro dripper, and the rest is just Q&A. That's what I'm thinking. Kind of 7 o'clock beginning. 7 in the evening, that gives me time if I'm at the studio to come back, have dinner, settle down, get a couple of cups of tea down me, and then hit broadcast for the Tuesday show. So that's what the plan's going to be, folks. Also, I will probably not be going to the UK Vapor Expo in October. Got to face the facts. This is going to continue on for 2 months. And it's not just that. I mean, I could push myself to go, but there's a second thing that I'm going to, which is probably going to be halfway through October, halfway through about a week after the UK Vapor Expo finishes. And it's not just the health problem, it's the cost involved. I don't make a lot of money doing this. There's rumours going around that I charge £500 for a review. If I charged £500 for a review, do you think I would not be in a much bigger studio than I'm in right now? I would probably be renting half the fucking floor. But I'm not. I'm renting one office space. I make, this is clear, right, once the studio rent's been paid for, right? So once the studio rent's been paid for, once the Virgin Media business broadband is paid for, what else? What other expenses is there? Studio rent, but that includes gas and electricity. Studio rent, business broadband. I think that's it for the actual office. Studio rent and business broadband. I don't have a parking space because I'm not allowed to drive. Yeah, once the basic business expenses is put to the side, and all that, and that money's been taken out, I'm only making £170 to £180 a week. That's less than minimum wage. In fact, that's much less than minimum wage considering the amount of hours that I was ploughing into this. Originally, it's less than £200 a week that I'm making once the rent for the studio and the business broadband's been removed. And that 180, it's enough to keep me going. It's enough to keep a roof over me and Mother Dearest head and food on the table. But there's not a lot of leeway going on here, and the cost of going to the UK Vapor Expo, you're talking about £350 to £390 for the hotel room. You're talking travel expenses going down and coming back up, and then you're talking maybe £100 to £150 spending money for the actual event. You're talking over half a fucking grand here just for a weekend event, which at push comes to shove I could probably afford it. But then there's that other thing coming up midway through October, which I'm going to be travelling for. I'm not going to mention much about it, but it's got to do with the eSig 101 Season 3. And what I'm going to be doing is one Season 2, which is about halfway through done. One Season 2's edited and I start uploading it. I'm going to start preparing for Season 3. Season 3 was going to be about advanced vaping, RTAs, RDAs, MECs, squonkers, high-powered wattage devices, the kind of stuff that most of you watching this will probably be into. That's now going to be Season 4. And in its place, Season 3 is going to be about liquids. How liquids are made, the stuff you get in the shelf, how it's made, how to DIY, the difference between the two major classes of nicotine salts, the difference between salts and free-base nicotine, where the nicotine comes from, and how the nicotine's extracted. Season 3 is going to be wrapped around this bit of travelling that I'm going to be doing. That's all I'm going to say about that right now, but it's going to be wrapped around the bit of travelling. Now, the place that I'm going to, they're covering the bulk of the expenses for me when I go there, but there's still going to be a little bit of expenses on my side, and that coming straight after the UK Vapor Expo at the beginning of October. It's either one or the other, and I would rather have Season 3 done correctly, with all the information actually seen on video from the people that know, rather than just guess it myself. Well, not so much guess it, but learn about it myself and possibly make a screw up. Like, for instance, what's the difference between Nic Salt Type A and Nic Salt Type B? And what about Nic Salt Type C that's not used anymore? I don't fucking know. I just read about it on a forum somewhere. So I would rather go and get the people involved that know what they're fucking doing to actually sit down in an interview and talk about it. That's what I've got planned for Season 3 of eSig 101. But the problem is that trip is 1 week after the end of the UK Vapor Expo. Now, don't get me wrong, if I suddenly win the lottery or something and there's a bit more cash in the bank, I'll probably end up making it down to the UK Vapor Expo. Maybe only for a couple of days though. That way it gives me a full week of recovery in time to head out to that second thing that I'm going to midway through October. But right now, I don't think I'm going to be going. Not just because of the health problems, but it's the money. It's all down to the monetary issues. If that mid-October trip wasn't going to be in October, if it was planned much later on during the year or the beginning of next year even, I would have skimped and scraped and come up with enough cash to end up heading down to the UK Vapor Expo. But right now, I don't think I'm going to be going, folks. It doesn't look like it. And that's basically it. Yeah, that's basically it. So, hopefully, fingers crossed and touch wood. Fingers crossed and touch wood. Tomorrow, I'll be heading down to the studio. I've got the 3 videos that should have been up on the channel 2 weeks ago. Some of them are already partly edited, so I'm going to be editing out those videos and getting those reviews up this coming week. And basically what I'm going to be doing from there on is essentially taking each day as it comes. Good days, I'll be popping down to the studio, get a lot of bulk recording done, get the B-roll shots done hopefully the same day, and I can always chuck them onto a USB drive and edit them up here on this computer, even though this computer's nowhere near as fast as the one in the office, but get them edited on this computer, and that way I can at least get a handful, like 3 or 4 reviews uploaded. It's just a question of taking each day as it comes. That's what it comes down to. But yeah, the choice was there. That's what the doctor said. The choice was basically there. Either pick your good days, essentially pick your good days and get any work you can get done on the good days, or shut down your company and go on ESA, because the doctor was all ready for actually signing a new note if I decided to just walk away from reviewing, essentially walk away. She was all ready for signing a new note to hand over to the DWP, and then there's the whole fucking check thing that goes on, and then it would be on ESA. But again, there's light at the end of the tunnel. This is not an ongoing chronic thing that's going to be following me for the rest of my life. Couple of months, 3 months tops, of this going on, and then it's kind of back to normal. Apart from the diabetes, I won't get rid of that well unless I do major dietary changes. But yeah, I wasn't happy with going down the road of shutting everything down, selling everything up, and then coming back in 2.5 months' time, and essentially building everything back up from scratch. No, that's not going to happen. I would rather struggle on the way I am right now, with 1 or 2 good days a week, which is all I really need to get the basic review done. Because all the stuff that's undergoing, oh, in fact I can't show you the stuff that's on the table because they're under NDA. That's why there's a couple of good mods here. Fucking tempted to show them, but I can't show them until a week and a half, 2 weeks. What date's this? Oh no, it's 2 weeks. Can't show them for another 2 weeks. But yeah, all this stuff's been redirected up here, so I'm doing a lot of testing up here. That way, on the good days that I'm going to be recording the reviews, I can just chuck what's on the table in the bag, drag them down there, get the recordings done, chuck them on a USB drive, edit them up here. That's what the plan's going to be anyway, folks. Anyway, a big thank you to everyone who is sticking around during the quiet couple of weeks on the channel. Next week, from tomorrow basically, things should be back to relative normality. 3 or 4 reviews a week, what's up at the end of the weekend, and I'm thinking the first episode of ESIG 101 Season 2 might even go up next week or the week after. Don't know yet though, depends how the editing goes. Anyway, that basically covers everything for now, folks. As always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.